Greetings. Let's talk about creating, editing, and labeling a feature service in ArcGIS Online. Straightforward to do, yet powerful. Joseph Kursky here with you on this session today, and I'm glad you're joining me because these tools are very powerful. I'm starting with my organization. You're going to start with your organization in ArcGIS Online. You're going to add a new item. You're going to create a feature layer. The reason why you can't do this with just a sketch is that a sketch is not a feature layer. It's not powerful enough to be able to do overlays and buffers and other things. So what you want to do is create a feature layer. That is like a Lego brick, and you can create structures with those Lego bricks. I'm going to make a polygon feature layer, so you need to think ahead about what kind of feature you want. In my case, I'm going to make a land use land cover layer editable feature service for a school campus. So I'm going to give it some metadata so that I and other people can actually find, if I share my layer, this layer in the future. So it's important to pay attention to this metadata zone in any part of ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Desktop where you're making features. Make sure that you populate the metadata, again, so that you and others can find this. So here's my land cover layer. I'm going to open it up in the map viewer now, and this is the map viewer that has been around since 2019, so it's what we call the default or the new map viewer. And here is my campus. I'm going to zoom to it so that I can make a map that is going to be having the extent of the school campus. I'm also going to change the base map to imagery hybrid. Later on I'll change it to just imagery for reasons that we'll talk about in a moment. But that way I can digitize or create my polygons in my blank feature service. Right now there's a feature service, but there's nothing in it, right? There's no attributes, there's nothing in it. So I'm going to create a new feature here, and I'm going to create a new feature for each kind of land use that I've got here. So this one's going to be obviously buildings, or school in this case, but buildings. And then I've got another polygon for parking lot or car park, depending on what part of the world you're from. And then I've got this wonderful open space near this school. It's great for doing field work, looking at plants, animals, erosion, all kinds of things. So I'm going to call this one the ravine in a little while. And note that if you want to edit it, once you're created the feature, you can. You can click on those vertices and nodes and edit that feature. Notice I've got a table of data, but there's nothing actually populated in it yet, okay? Now note there's also some snapping. We'll get to this in more detail in a bit. But let's say I want to add a feature and I want to actually snap it. Notice I've got these right angles, and every time that it makes it a green line, that means I'm snapping. Now you can't set the snapping distance. If you want more sophisticated snapping tools, you'll need to do some editing in ArcGIS Pro. But for online, it's wonderful. It's fabulous. It's amazing that you can actually edit features in just the online environment. I and many of you probably watching this video dreamed for years that you could actually do this in the online environment, and now we can. Notice I'm snapping here, and if I make a mistake, no big deal. I can say, no, I don't want to hold those, discard those edits, and start over. So I can do some sophisticated editing. Now, sure, I'm not laying fiber optic cable or gas pipelines or anything like that here, so I'm not in the sub-centimeter accuracy range or precision range here. But for my purposes, this is actually quite good that I can snap existing features to new features. And so now I've got a prairie, sort of an upland land cover category there. Great. So now I'm going to symbolize these in. I don't have any attributes much to symbolize on, except I do have a couple of things that are there as defaults. I'm going to delete one of them. So now I at least see that I've got different types of features there, and I'm going to go ahead and save that map now that contains my feature service. So the map contains features. A map can have many or just one layer or feature in it. It could also have images and grids and that sort of data, tile data as well. Notice I've got some field names in here. I just added the field name, and now I'm going to go ahead and edit and populate each one of those based on where I click. So I'm going to say, okay, that's parking, and that is grass, and that is the ravine, and I'm missing the building. I'll add that in a bit. Here's the prairie. Okay, so now if I'm going to go ahead and save this map, notice now I've got those attributes inside my table of data. That's the I part of GIS, the table of data. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the building. That very last one that I missed earlier. I can go ahead and add that in, which I think I will do right here. Click on the building and add that attribute in there. And let's click on that building and add it. All right, very good. All right, so to sum, so far we've created a feature class. We then added the geometry, in this case polygons, into our map. We've saved the map. Now we're adding the attributes. Now I'm looking at the pop-ups. Notice there's a couple of ways I can get the pop-ups in there. I can edit the title, I can make an expression, and I can customize the pop-ups. The default pop-up is just basically what you've got in the attribute table. But if you want to go the extra distance and populate that with something different, then you can create these expressions as you saw me do there. I can also label features. So here I can use the labeling function, and I can label each one of these with their, in this case, land cover. I'm also going to make it transparent so I can kind of see that imagery below the, and I'm going to do some slight adjustments here to do some additional snapping. I'm not quite happy with the way I digitize that, so I'm going to go ahead and just do some light editing on that. And also I'm going to change the pop-up again. Notice I can either change the expression there, or I can add a new expression with the arcade scripting language. Very powerful to do. Look, I've got a land use in this area is, and then the field name, in this case, fairly straightforward. So that's what I've got there. I've got a couple of different ways to edit the pop-ups, and also I can edit the labels as well. Now I've got the label saying the land use here is X, prairie, grass, buildings, etc. So powerful tools inside ArcGIS Online. No specific device required. I'm going to go ahead and share this map now. Notice that it gave me a warning that your layer underneath that map is not shared. So I'm going to go into the layer, the feature layer, and I'm going to go ahead and make that shareable as well under the settings. Now, if I share this, you can actually look at my map and my layer. Thanks for being with me, creating, editing, and labeling a feature service in ArcGIS Online. I hope this was useful. Feel free to slow this down if you need to. I realize this was kind of fast. There's plenty of documentation as well. Go ahead and map on. Thanks.